Good afternoon, Richard Earl, founder of Talent International. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thanks.
Fantastic. Very, very good to see you. Now, you and I were last together 9 months ago when I was facilitating your global leadership conference at the wonderful Monkey Island outside Henley, and it's a bit of a different world now.
It certainly is, that's for sure. Yeah.
And just tell me, the business has been going 20 plus years.
Yeah.
In the last 5 weeks, and you've seen recessions before, in the last 5 weeks that have been very, very unique, what have you learned about your business?
Yeah, it's a good question, I guess. And I have experienced recessions before and downturns. Obviously, haven't experienced anything quite like this. But I think I learned a long time ago that, it's good to be in the contracting space, yeah. And historically, back in my early days in recruitment, I was involved in perm-only businesses, and I got to see how fragile they can be anytime there's a downturn in the economy. So I think we made a conscious decision to build a business in that contracting space, and in particular, the safer parts of it, which for us is sort of state and federal government, in Australia, New Zealand, public sector in the UK. Haven't really tapped into government yet in the US, early days, but so I think I learned that a long time ago, and so we have a business that is predominantly linked to contracting, sort of large scale contracting workforces, and that's certainly proving useful at the moment. Yeah.
Fantastic. And anything else you've learned about your team all over the world? You've got hundreds of people employed in the States, in Australia, New Zealand, UK, Europe.
Yeah.
This has been different from previous downturns.
That's right. Yeah.
Unique.
No, I think the guys have shown themselves to be pretty resilient. I mean, we invested a lot in our culture and building a solidarity across the whole global business. And you and I had a gathering, some months ago, at Monkey Island, there just outside of London, and to work on that sort of stuff. And we've done a lot of work with Gallup, who do a lot about staff engagement. So we going into this, we've done a lot of work. So, and I think that's really helped. So the spirit and the energy and the camaraderie is there. And over the last few days, I've rung around a lot of our various business directors and general managers, and it's been great to see that spirit has been there, and the will to work together. So that's been really encouraging. Yeah, I think I have observed certain organisations, whether they be competitors or other businesses, not behaving that well or descending into sort of chaotic behaviour. So I think I've been pleased to see that we've shown that resilience and importantly that bond and sticking together and working through it collectively. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Because you have achieved the very unique award of being the only recruiter in the world to make it into the Gallup top 40 best companies to work with, which is extraordinary. And I've got to say, when we worked together back at Monkey Island, I walked away. One of my reflections was that is the most aligned and united leadership teams that I've ever worked with, which is fantastic. So presumably that all that work and effort that you and the guys have done over the years must have paid back in terms of the recent times.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think we're really seeing that sort of pay dividends now, and it's pleasing to see. And I think whether you're a recruitment company or any sort of company, I think building that sort of culture is important, and helps you survive times like these. Yeah.
And what about the whole sort of working from home piece? Because you've done some of that before, but this has forced us into a whole new.
Yeah. Look, that's right. So some of our people have worked from home before. We were reasonably well set up for it going into this. I think it doesn't suit everybody. I think salespeople are social beings, and gregarious, and I know some of our people have battled with it a bit. Some people like that energy of being in the office and having colleagues around them, but people have had to learn to adapt. I think I personally had to learn to adapt and sort of work in isolation. I think for people in leadership roles, it may have an impact. People who are used to walking into busy office environments and shouting instructions and going from meeting to meeting to suddenly lose that completely, overnight.
Yeah.
It's probably been a challenge for quite a lot of leaders out there, and as well as our salespeople. So certainly, some challenges there, but again, I think we've taken a lot of counsel and helped people through it. We've engaged a couple of companies who people can get in touch with, particularly those who are struggling with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't suit everybody. Yeah. Yeah. And not everyone is in the best environment to work from home. I've got a guy here. He moved from Melbourne, Australia, 2 days before the lockdown in New York, and he's sharing an apartment with 3 investment bankers who aren't taking the situation very seriously. And so I get him to come over here a couple of days a week. But so not everyone's got the best environment, and so it's been challenging for some people. But by and large, I think people have adapted and are learning a new way to work. Yeah.
And has it given you, I can see a flip chart behind you in your apartment. Has it given you, have you picked up a few new habits or changed your ways a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, initially I thought, I'm used to sort of continually being on planes and moving around the world and probably traveling too much. And it forced me to be in one spot. And I thought, well, how am I going to deal with this? And, I started to challenge myself, if you like. And I have a conversation with a whiteboard behind me and challenge myself to sort of look at things that I could do better, or particular projects or initiatives, and what haven't I been doing well, and so it's been quite useful, and perhaps encouraged me to be more strategic or creative, rather than sort of being a bit operational and running around all the time. So I actually first week or so, I thought, oh, this is awkward, but I've kind of got used to it, and
yeah.
I've got used to Zoom. I mean, that's and the other tools are out there. So yeah, so I feel like I'm making good use of the time.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And any conclusions about? I mean, in many ways, the kind of urgencies of the current situation means that we've got to make some decisions quicker. We've got to move quicker. We've got to fill vacancies quicker. We've got to tighten up some processes. We've got to do more communication than ever. Are there any sort of conclusions that you've come to about maybe some of the things that would be good practices to take forward with?
Yeah, sure. Look, I think the first thing I'd say on that is, I think there's some people have panicked in this situation. So, we had a session with our UK operational board yesterday, and and I preached, don't do anything knee jerk. Yeah, just have a good look at the situation before making certain decisions and the whole thing. Look, I think moving forward, I think there is going to be a sort of new environment to operate in. Again, one of the things I advised was that to take a more defensive approach to your client base. And one thing I'm already seeing here, and I think it's occurring elsewhere, a lot of recruiters have either lost their entire markets or have lost particular clients, and they're probably getting instructions, get out there and find new business. So there was a customer we were talking to in Silicon Valley yesterday, said a couple of days ago, never had so many recruitment calls in one day. Yeah. And that's a sign of, I guess, the desperation of people who've got to reinvent themselves, find new markets. So I think, coming out of this, there'll be more of that. So I think, be defensive.
What do you mean by be defensive? What does that mean to you?
Make sure you look after your client.
Okay. Yeah.
So that they don't get tempted. So again, I'm hearing stories that people are making incredible offers to win a client over. Free placements, for instance, or seriously, long deferred payments. So make sure you look after your client and that they don't get tempted by unbelievable offers to take their business elsewhere. So I think that's important as well. But look, I think, moving forward, we have learned to operate a bit differently. I think people are getting back to the phones a lot more, actually. I'm hearing a lot of people saying that, they're making more phone calls, which is a great thing. I've always been concerned with the way the industry descended a little bit into electronic and digital communication. So I think people are talking a bit more and using tools such as Zoom as well, and getting a bit more interactive with their candidates and also their clients. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, interesting. And you built your business. I know you've always had a passion for making sure both the candidate and the client experience is absolutely as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Are there any sort of changes you're anticipating seeing in the next sort of 6-9 months in the market generally about the way that the sort of clients work with recruiters and activities that the recruiters are going to be trying to get better and smarter at?
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of talk about the future of work, and certainly when I go and see customers, and if I think here, when I've been going to the US, companies like Shell and Chevron and Spotify that we work with have all asked us a question: how are you adapting to the changing nature of workforces? Because there was a change underway anyway about the way people work. And if anything, with this crisis, I think it's accelerating the move towards that. So I think remote working is going to be a permanent feature of moving out of this. I think I think the way the recruitment sector supports remote workers is critical. We've been doing a lot of work towards this and have developed, a particular platform that supports contractors and remote working. So I think as an industry, we've got to respond to that, react and support remote workers and the changing nature of workers and some of the things they need around working remotely. We'd already done a lot of research around people who do work remotely and, particularly tech contractors. And, we'd heard a few things that they're experiencing, sense of isolation or loneliness and stuff. And we've put a lot of programs in place to deal with that. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, fascinating. And the Spotifys of this world and the Shells, are they because of the current situation? They're actually anticipating and thinking about how they can remodel their workplaces maybe quicker than they were before.
Yeah, that's right. I think some of those types of companies had, particularly for tech, which is where we are, a large proportion of their workforce is temporary. Yeah, they even before this were conscious that they weren't perhaps looking after those people enough. Yeah, that whilst their permanent staff had access to a wonderful set of benefits and perks and things. Yeah. Their temporary workforce didn't, so I think that's, and that's what they're referring to. And again, I think the platform we've developed, Talent Engage, really addresses a lot of that sort of stuff and, and supports temporary workforces in what they need. Yeah.
Yeah. And you talk about Talent Engage, the platform for the contractors, which I absolutely loved when I saw that. Yeah. Presumably, during this current scenario where people are looking for communities, that's come into its own even more than ever was.
Yeah. No, that's right. In fact, so next week we're partnering with Boston Consulting Digital Ventures to develop the Engage platform to the next level, and they're pretty excited about it. In fact, we've got a virtual workshop next week with their New York team, and where people are dialing in from Australia, the UK, and around America. And we thought we'd use this time. It's I think more than ever to get across this and look at ways we can evolve it and develop it. And they've certainly got a lot of ideas that they can throw into the mix as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So you're sort of the DNA for your business in terms of the things that's built this great business up today. When you think of the recruiters who are going to really emerge strongly through the next 9 months, what are they going to be doing differently and better than the others?
Yeah, firstly, I think the first thing I'd say about that is who's going to emerge okay. Look, certain sectors are going to be damaged. Yeah, if you're supporting transportation or hospitality or retail, it's obviously difficult. Look, I think I think tech, the importance of tech will be ever more apparent. I think life science, healthcare, biotech are going to be important. So I think certain areas are going to come to the fore. But yeah, look, I think coming out of this, I think looking after candidates is going to be ever more important. Yeah, and I think making sure that we do more for them. I think as a sector, as an industry, we've let ourselves down a bit in terms of customer service or candidate care, and I think the better recruiters coming out of this will be more focused on that, or the ones that will do well will focus on that. And and I think I think you're probably going to see a bit of a rationalization of the recruitment sector. I think what you are seeing is a lot of businesses were undercapitalized to deal with this. I mean, just having spent the last 5 weeks in New York, I'm hearing lots of stories of companies like that were dependent on perm. So they're going to have to rethink their model. Yeah. So I think you will see a rationalization. You'll see people evaluate their commercial models to be more sustainable. Yeah. And I think and probably more solution based. Yeah. I think there was already a shift towards more solution-based recruitment programs, and again, I think that will be accelerated. Yeah, and I think an American client referred to it as drive-by shooting recruitment, which some people practice, which is just grab a fee and run, and that's a short-term model. Yeah. I think it will accelerate the demise of that sort of approach. Yeah, which probably isn't a bad thing.
No. So are you seeing the end of the transactional recruiter, or the reduction in their?
No, it will always be there, but you can just tell. Customers are becoming more sophisticated and understand the space more. Yeah, and you're seeing, they want a more solutions-based approach. Yeah. I mean, you'll always have that transactional stuff that but I think. It's becoming a little less relevant, and particularly if you want to be successful. I mean, I think the reason of going into business in the recruitment is to make profits and be successful. And certain models don't work that well, and they've been exposed badly and very quickly. I've seen, I know a number of businesses that have collapsed within 4 to 6 weeks. Already collapsed on the back of this because they just weren't sustainable business models. Yeah.
So I suppose the speed in which we can evolve our models and our offering to make it a really solution-based model to help people in their whole talent strategy is really interesting. Yeah. No, absolutely fascinating. So no, brilliant, Richard. That's been a fascinating insight. It's been really, really good to catch up with you. It's been 9 months since Monkey Island, and it's really good to hear about some of the exciting things you've done, and I can't wait to see the new Talent Engage platform when it's up and running, version 3, or whatever it is, because I think that's a very, very special model that you built there. Yeah, and I have to ask about the foundation.
Talent Rise. Yeah, look, I think it's going very well. Going well in Australia, New Zealand, the UK. We're just about getting ready to launch it in the US. Look, I think it's going to be more important after this, and the reason for that is I think you're going to see high levels of youth unemployment. Unfortunately, a lot of the businesses and industries affected are typically ones that employ young people, like hospitality and retail. So I think we're going to see youth unemployment go through the roof. So I think, Rise, which specifically helps young people, with challenges to employment. And I've already had discussions with the people in Rise saying, look, we're going to have to come out of this doing more and being able to offer more, so let's wrap our heads around that and see what we can do. But I do worry about younger people coming out of this, and though the big numbers that are going to be affected.
No, without a doubt. Well, listen, Richard, I'll I'll let you crack on. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your view in the world, and best of luck to you and your business, and I hope your family stay safe and well
Yeah.
over the coming months. And I look forward to seeing you face to face
Yeah.
sometime soon.
So thanks, Gordon. Likewise. Hopefully, I can get out of New York at some point, and we can grab a beer over there in the UK. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no,
That's
love
right,
love to. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
all right. Thanks,
Now.
Gordon. Cheers.